So, hello everyone. My name is Ria and I'll be your instructor for this course. Let me know once my screen is visible, okay? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. Also, to make this session more interactive, I want everyone to participate in the discussion that we'll be having. Okay? If you have any sort of doubt, do let me know then and there. Okay? Also, how many of you have previously worked with Python or have a slight knowledge of Python at least? Is there anyone? I mean, you can say no if you don't, if you are not aware of this, if you have not never worked with this programming language. Okay. Acha, one more thing. You guys are comfortable in English, right? Because I'll be able to communicate either in English or in Hindi. So, which language do you guys prefer?
English.
English. Okay, fine. So, let us start. Now, what is Python? Python is a programming language. Now, why do we need programming language? Another question. Why is it required? So, in order to communicate with a machine, in order to see, this is our machine, and here we are the user. Now, the user wants this machine to perform some tasks. Okay. And for performing tasks, the computer or the machine needs instructions. And the way this user is going to send the instructions to the machine is via code. Why? Because our machine understands codes. It does not understand the language that we use for communication. Also, the machine understands only zeros and ones. So, what we write or what we instruct the machine to do, firstly, that needs to be converted into machine understandable language. We'll write the code according to our understanding. But in order to make the machine understand what is to be done, this particular code needs to be converted in an understandable format. Okay, so the user writes codes. Now, these codes can be in any programming language because we are going to program this machine to work according to our requirements. Now, these programming languages can be C, C++, Java, Python, anything. And in our course, we'll be studying Python. Okay. So the user wrote the instructions in Python, suppose. Python is a high level programming language. Now, this high level programming language needs to be converted to, should be converted to machine understandable format. Now, what is a machine understandable format? The code needs to be converted to stream of zeros and ones. Okay. So, the user sends the instruction or writes the code and sends the instruction to an interpreter or compiler. Okay. Now, interpreter or compiler, it is better to write it as, now the user sends the codes to a translator. Okay. Now, this translator will convert, here we have written the code in Python. Now, this translator will convert this Python code in machine understandable or machine level language, which is streams of zeros and ones. Machine level language. Okay. Now, suppose your company or your firm deals with foreign companies. Okay, the clients are basically foreigners. So suppose, let us talk about Japan. So if you are dealing with a Japanese client, you will have to keep a translator in between, right? Who can, if you are not familiar with Japanese, you don't speak Japanese or you're not able to understand Japanese, what you'll do, you'll keep a translator with you. You'll speak in English or in Hindi, and the translator will translate your words or your instructions to the Japanese client, and vice versa. So, what is the role of the translator? The translator converts converts one language into another. And in case of machines, this translator can either be a compiler or an interpreter. Okay. So how does this work? You wrote the code in Python, you send it to the translator, or you compile your code or ask the interpreter to interpret your code, and then this translator will send the information to the machine in terms of machine level language, that is zeros and ones. Zero means either there is no voltage or low voltage, and one means high voltage. So this is how the Python codes gets converted into machine level machine level or machine understandable format. Okay. Any doubts still here? Why are we using Python? We are using Python to send the instructions to the machine. We need to write codes here. And the codes can be written in any programming language, but we are going to use Python. Another reason being, Python is simple and easy. Python is free and open source. There are some programming languages which charge you, but Python is free and open source. You do not need to pay anything for it. Okay. It is again a high level language, and it is portable. Now, what does portable mean? Suppose you are working on Windows operating system. Okay. And your friend has Mac. So he's working on Mac operating system. Another friend is working on Linux. So the Python code that you guys are going to write will be same, which means Python is independent of the operating system we are using. It is portable. Python was developed by Guido van Rossum. Just for information. No one is going to ask you. Cool? Anyone has any doubt still here? This is just the basic. I hope I am clear. Please say yes or no. If you have any doubts, please let me know. So there's no response. See, this session,
It's clear, ma'am.
it's clear? Okay. One more thing I just wanted to say. See, there is a slight difference between online and offline classes. So if you want this class to be, I mean, it depends on you how interactive you're going to make this session so that you don't feel that why are we not having offline classes. If you'll respond, if you answer, there you won't feel any difference between online and offline classes. It's just that you won't be able to see me and I won't be able to interact with you in person. But that's okay. I don't think that will make any difference. So you just need to respond either yes or no or whatever I ask. Cool. So let us just move ahead. So I used a term compiler and interpreter. Both of these are translators. They translate the machine level, they translate the high level language into machine level language. Okay. So what does a compiler do? A compiler compiles your code. Suppose you have written this Python code. Okay. So what will the compiler do? It will compile the entire code as a single file and then it will process it further. Whereas if we talk about interpreter, what does it do? An interpreter works line by line. Matlab, it will be dealing with a single line of code at a time. So at each line, if there is any error or something, the interpreter will inform you then and there. Whereas the compiler compiles the entire code into a single file and then it processes it further. Okay. This is the basic difference between compiler and interpreter. Both are translators, but a compiler compiles it first. Now, what does this compilation mean? It means that a compiler translates the code from a high level language into machine level understandable format before the program runs. Matlab, it will first translate it and then it will run the file. Whereas interpreter converts it into machine level code line by line as the code runs. Okay, so you can write it here like it will translate from a high level language into machine code before the program runs, and interpreter translates the code written in a high level language into machine code line by line as the code runs. Okay, so what does a compiler do? It will first translate the entire file and then the program will run. Whereas an interpreter, what will it do? As the program runs, it will keep on translating the code line by line. Okay. Now, a compiler first translates and then the program file runs. What will happen? This results in faster execution because Now, why is it fast? Because during the runtime, there is no need of translating the source code again. So a compiler, a compiler's execution is faster as compared to an interpreter's execution. Okay. But detecting errors is easier in case of interpreters. The errors that we encounter, what will happen in compiler? Firstly, it translates everything and then it will run. Now, during runtime, if you face any error, you'll have to again go through the entire file. But in an interpreter, when you are using an interpreter, what will it do? It will help you identify the error in a particular line then and there before execution, so that you keep on modifying your code as per the needs. I hope I am clear. So this was all about interpreter and compiler. I hope I am clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we are going to write our first program. You will be needing two things. Firstly, you need to install Python on your system and you need to install Anaconda. Okay. These two things. So I think we'll be dealing with the installation part in the upcoming session. Usually I do it in the first session, but since this is a demo session, we'll be covering other topics now. Okay, because this would take time. I'll tell you how to install Python and Anaconda, but as of now, we'll do it in the later sessions. Okay. So writing our first program. Whenever you start learning any programming language, the first program that you write is print hello world. So we'll also do that. So what are we going to do? We'll use this print function. I'll show you how to use it. Let me know when my screen changes. Is the Anaconda prompt navigator visible here? Oh, just a minute. I just closed it, I guess. Give me a minute. Let me know once my screen is visible, okay? Is it visible? So we'll be using Jupyter Notebook for writing the Python codes. So the first program that we have written is print hello world. Let us see how does it work. Okay. So I'll write print hello world. Hello world got printed. Now you can write anything that you want to print in the inverted commas. Okay. So this is how you write your first program. We have used the print function. Now the print function, what does it do? It is responsible for printing whatever is written between parentheses. Okay. I have written hello world here. I can write Ria. So, oh, okay. So, Ria got printed here. So, this is how you write your program here. This is the most simple program, the first program that we have written. I hope it is clear. We have just used a print statement here. Is it okay? Shall we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I hope the whiteboard is visible to you guys. Now, there are certain characters that you can use in Python. So, the character set that Python allows us to use is letters, digits, then we have special symbols, we have white spaces, and we have other characters. Other characters will include ASCII characters. Okay, so letters from capital A to capital Z, small a to small z. We talk about the digits, it is from 0 to 9. Special symbols will be minus, plus, asterisk, division, etc. Okay. White spaces are basically the blank spaces. And other characters include the ASCII characters. We'll eventually go through all of them. Okay. Now, the main thing, the very important concept is that of variables. In maths, we study about variables and constants, right? Variables do not have a fixed value. Suppose I write x equals to 20, y equals to 50. So this x can have any value. Now 20 is the value that we have specified, we have assigned. So in our case, the value of x is going to be 20 because we have assigned a value of 20 to this variable. In Python, we have a similar concept. Suppose we need to write someone's name. So we'll write a variable name here, suppose name, and then we assign the value to it. Okay. Suppose we are talking about the age. So we'll write age. Age is a number, so we'll write it like this. So if we want to define variables, what are variables in Python? So variables are names or name given to a memory location in a program. See, today's class is going to be a bit theoretical. We won't be coding much because firstly you need to know about the basic concepts. Okay, so variable is a name given to a memory location. Now, what is a memory location? See, in your computer, you have memory blocks, okay? So suppose you want to assign a certain value to this memory block. Suppose you need to write Ria in this memory block. So you simply give the name to this block as name. And the value that this block will be holding will be Ria. Okay. Similarly, if you want this memory location to contain this value 23, you'll just assign a name to this memory location, which is your variable age, and the value that it will store is 23. So variable can be understood as a name given to a memory location in a program. I hope it is clear. Variables are also known as identifiers. Okay. So identifiers basically identify the value that you are assigning to it, or the value you want to give to the memory location. I hope I am clear. Shall we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, uh, now giving names to variables is also according to certain rules. You cannot just write anything as a variable name. There are certain rules for identifiers. Now, what are these rules? Identifiers can be a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters. Okay, which means you can write it like this: my variable, or my variable, or anything of this sort. So it is basically a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters. You can also include digits here. Like you can write variable one. It can also contain special characters. I mean, basically, only underscore is permissible. You can write like this: variable one, variable two. So you can use underscore while naming your identifier. Okay. Now, one important thing, you can use digits while naming your identifier, but your identifier cannot start with the digit, which means variable 2 is valid, but 2 variable is not valid. Your identifier should always begin with a letter. Okay. You cannot use special symbols like exclamation mark, hash, at the rate, percentage, dollar, etc. in the identifier. This is not permissible. Only underscore is permissible. Okay. And identifiers can be of any length. You can write x equals to something, y equals to something, abc equals to something, anything you want to write. Okay. So identifiers can be named in any manner. Keeping in mind, they should contain only letters, digits, or underscore. It should not start with a digit. It can be a combination of lowercase and uppercase letters. It should not include special characters. Okay, suppose I am writing this variable name. My variable name is equal to, and then you write some value here. So, okay, this variable name is meaningful, but this is very long. This is very lengthy. We always try to keep the variable name as short as possible because you'll have to use it repeatedly in your program. Also, if you're writing a small variable name like this, abxyze, cool. This is a small variable name, but isn't it difficult for you to remember this sequence of letters as your variable name? So this is not easy. This is complex. This is a bit complex. This is not lengthy, but it is complex. So it is advisable to use shorter variable names which are meaningful. So if I write age equals to 23, this is small. I mean, this is less lengthy. I mean, this is of perfect length. The length is not an issue here. Also, it is easy to remember. It is meaningful. So always try to name your variables in a manner that they are not too lengthy, they are meaningful, they are easy to remember. They can be a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, digits, or underscore. The name should not start with a digit and they should not contain special characters. I hope I am clear. If you have any doubts, please let me know. No doubts? Shall we proceed? Okay. Now we'll be dealing with the data types in Python. In order to process anything, first you need a data for the same. So this data can be of multiple types. It can be integer, string, float, boolean, none, complex number, and other data types. So these are the most commonly used data types in Python. Integers include numbers 0 to 9. Like you can write 23, 25, 251. These are all integers. It's not 0 to 9, sorry. It can be negative as well. It can be minus 15, minus 24, anything. So the the whole numbers, the natural numbers, the integers, everything comes under integer data type. It is basically the numerical data type. Okay. Then we have string. String includes this, Ria. I mean, it includes letters. Whenever you are writing anything as a string, it is understood as a name or yeah, it is understood as a name. You cannot perform arithmetic operations on strings. Okay, there are different set of operations that strings support. We'll be dealing with this data type in detail. So in strings, we talk about letters, basically. Whenever you write anything in double inverted commas or single inverted commas or triple inverted commas, it is understood as a string. I'll show you it. I'll show it to you in the Jupyter notebook as well. Now, float data type includes this 28.99, the decimal numbers. Boolean indicates either true or false. None data type basically denotes your null values or empty values. Complex numbers deal with complex numbers. Okay. So these are the most common data types that Python supports. Uh, is the Jupyter notebook visible? Just have a look here. We have name as Ria Pandey, age 25, salary 25.99. Okay, these are the variables that I have created. Now, this name can be written within double inverted commas, single inverted commas, or triple inverted commas. I have a variable name here, another variable name 1 and name 3 here. So if you print, acha, one more thing that I wanted to tell you regarding the print statement. whenever you print anything within inverted commas, the value gets printed as it is. As you can see here, print Ria, it got printed here. Now we have created a variable named name, and the value assigned to it is Ria Pandey. So if we print name, if we write print and then brackets and we write name within inverted commas, the output will be the value which is written within inverted commas. But if you want the value of this variable to be printed, then you will just write print and the variable name. So the value assigned to this variable gets printed here. Is the difference clear? Now, another thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you are assigning any string value to a variable, you can either use double inverted commas or single inverted comma or triple inverted comma. It is one and the same thing. It is just that double inverted commas are mostly used because they are easy to, it has become a tradition to use double inverted commas. Otherwise, there is no difference between the three. So I have created another variable name 1 where I have stored Ria within single inverted commas and name 3 where I have stored Ria within triple inverted commas. So when you print these three variables, you will get the output as Ria Pandey, Ria, Ria. So there is no difference. Whatever you write within single, double or triple inverted commas gets assigned to the variable. And when you print the variable, you'll get the output as you can see in on the screen. Another thing, when you are creating any variable, you can assign another variable to it. Like here, earlier we had a variable named age and the value of age was 25. So now we have created another variable age 2 and we have assigned the value of age to it, which means age 2 equals to age. Like we have two variables here. One variable is age and another variable is age 2. The value stored in age is 25. Now what we did, we wrote age 2 equals to age, which means age 2 will have the value what age is having. Okay. So the value in age 2 will be that of age. And what is the value of age? It is 25. So the output should be 25 when we try to print age 2. And here you can clearly see print age 2 equals to 25. When you are trying to print any number, you just need to write print and the number. See here, I have written print 23 and the output that I got was 23. Print statement can be used to print multiple sentences as well. Like you can see it here. Print my name is Ria. I live in Mumbai. Okay. So my name is Ria. I live in Mumbai. I have used a comma as a separator here. So what happens? It gets printed in the same line. But if you want this to be printed in different lines, what you'll do? Print my name is Ria. Print I live in Mumbai. So these two gets printed in different lines. Okay. If you want it to be printed together, you can write it like this. Print my name is Ria. I live in Mumbai. Another thing that you can do here is that, just a minute. Suppose I have hard coded it here. Like I have written it, my name is Ria. But if I want that my name is Ria, instead of Ria, the value of the variable gets printed here. And instead of writing the age directly, I want the value of the variable age to be printed here. Then what I'll do, I'll write print my name is, comma, the variable name, comma, my age is, comma, age, variable, and then the output is, my name is Ria Pandey, my age is 25. I hope I'm clear. Am I going too fast? Say yes or no, so
No,
that I get an idea.
no, ma'am. It's clear.
You're able to get it, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I told you that we can directly print numbers. Print 23, print 56. We can do it directly. There is another feature of this print statement. It is that if you want to print sum of two numbers, you can directly write print 2 plus 3 and the output will be 5. As we can see here, print 23 plus 56 and the output is 79. So whatever you write within the parenthesis, that gets that gets processed and printed. So these are the different ways in which you can use this print statement. I hope it is clear. Now let us see. We were talking about the variables, right? See, I have created three variables here. The first variable is A, whose value is 23. The second variable is B, the value is 56. And in the third variable C, I have assigned it a value of A plus B. So whatever the value of A we have, whatever is the value of B, C is going to contain or hold the sum of A and B. Okay. So if I try to print A, B and C, what I'll get? I get the value of A, the value of B and the value of sum of A and B. Okay. Now I have created two other variables A and B which contain the value true and false. If you need to inspect or if you are trying to find out what is the data type of a particular variable, then you use the type command. Okay. So here I have written print, then type of age. What is the data type of age? So if we write it like this, the output is int, because if you remember, the value that we assigned to age was 25. We assigned the value Riya Pandey to the name variable. So if you try to print the type of, if you are trying to find out the data type of the variable name, the output will be string. Stands for string. The value that we assigned to salary was something 28.99. So if you try to find out the data type of salary, it comes out to be float, because the value that it holds is in decimals. Okay. Now A and B, the values that we assigned to A was true, B was false. So if you try to find out the data type of A, it comes out to be bool. Bool stands for boolean. Similarly, the data type of B is also bool, boolean. Now, if you create a variable C, capital C, and assign a value none to it, or you leave it blank, the output of the command print type of C would be none type. Is it clear? These are some of the data types that are most commonly used in Python. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Actually, I have a small doubt.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now, 10 is a kind of like Boolean data type, right?
1 and 0.
Yeah.
1 and 0 Boolean data type is
No. Like
hmm?
it's true or false, right?
Yeah.
We can represent like 0 and
Yes.
1 are true or false.
Yes.
And coming to binary, is binary set a kind of data type?
Binary
And is
is
binary is a kind of data type?
binary, you mean 0 and 1, right? Binary data type consists of zeros and ones.
One. Okay.
Yeah.
Like for example, I have a value of 10
Hmm.
that I assigned it into I assigned it to a variable.
Sorry, can you please come again?
And actually, let us consider in a value of 10.
Hmm.
Then I assigned the value 10 to a variable.
Okay.
Now the 10 is which kind of data type? Like it is in a binary data type or int.
It will be integer
Okay.
because you are
So,
writing 10, no?
yeah, yes, ma'am.
10 as a whole is an integer. Now,
Mhm.
the computer will read it in terms of ones and zero, a sequence of ones and zeros. So,
Okay.
if see, whenever you are trying to convert any, yes, this assignment, I mean, this task I had given to the students that were previously present in my class. I'll be
Mhm.
giving this to you guys as well. There are
Okay.
different types of formats in which you enter your numbers.
Mhm.
Like you write it in binary, we
Okay.
have hexadecimal, we
Ah,
have
yeah.
decimal, right?
Mm.
So whenever you have a number, say you have 5, okay. So if you want 5 to be represented in terms of binary data type, okay, so how are you going to write? See, the first, it is a stream of 0 and 1.
Okay.
The first one is 2 to the power 0. The
Mhm.
next is 2 to the power 1. Then 2 to the power 2. So if we write it like this, 1, 1, 0. If I'm writing it like this, 2 to the power 0 stands for 0. So this becomes 0 into 2 to the power 0 plus 1 into 2 to the power 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 2. So this becomes 4 plus 2 plus 0. So this becomes 6. So when we are trying to express 6 in terms of binary data type, it will be represented as 110. But if you want to write 5, how are you going to write it? It will be 1. It will be 0 here. It will be 1 here. Let us see whether this is correct or not. So this becomes 1 into 2 to the power 2 plus 0 into 2 to the power 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 0. Now 2 to the power 0 stands for 1. So this becomes 4 plus 0 plus 1, which becomes 5. So whenever you are trying to represent 5 in terms of binary, it will become 101. Cool. So when you are writing A is equal to 5, this is what you understand. But the computer understands binary data type. So the translator, what will it do? It will convert this 5 as 101. Am I clear?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
This is what you were asking, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But whenever you are assigning values 10, A equals to 101, this will be considered as integer only.
Yeah, integer.
Hmm.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Come. So data types are clear. The data types that I have discussed today. Now your task is to find out what is binary representation, hexadecimal representation. How do you convert them? We have octadecimal representation of numbers as well. So that is your task for today, to find out how this conversion is done. What are the different formats in which you can represent your numbers? Okay. So that is to be done on your part. So let me see what next we have. We talked about, yeah. The next topic that we'll be dealing with is keywords. Now, keywords are reserved words in Python, which means you cannot use these words in your identifier. Okay. Like you cannot name any identifier or variable as true equals to something. No, this is not permissible because true is a keyword in Python. It is a reserved word. Then you cannot use and as as an identifier. You cannot use as an identifier. You cannot use break as an identifier. No, these are keywords which are reserved in Python, and you should always keep in mind that these keywords cannot be used as variable names. Okay. Another task for you, find out the keywords in Python. What are the keywords in Python? I'll give the keywords in the next class, but before that, I want you guys to surf the internet and find out the keywords that Python has. And which keywords, keywords that Python has, which you cannot use to name your variable. It is very important to keep in mind the keywords so that you don't give the same, you don't use the keywords as your variable names. Okay. Now let us try to print sum of two numbers. I am taking the same example. A equals to 25, B equals to 23, and C equals to A plus B. You simply write it like this. C equals to A plus B. And then you try to print C. You can simply do this. I also showed you if you are assigning A equals to 25, B equals to 23. And if you simply write print A plus B, then also you will be getting the output as the sum of two numbers. Okay. Now, if I want to write any comment, I don't want that particular statement to be processed or to be read as a coding statement by the compiler. Then what I can do, I can use the commenting option of Python. Like I have written print name. Print name. And I want the first statement to be executed, but the second statement not to be executed. So I'll use the commenting feature and I'll use a hash symbol before the statement that I want to comment out. Okay. For single line comment. So when I run this cell, okay, the variable name is not, I'll just print Ria here for simplicity. See, Ria. When I run this, what gets printed? Both are print statements, but only the first one gets printed. Why? Because in the second one, I have commented it out using the single line commenting feature, using the hash symbol. If I want multi-line comment, this is a comment. So what I'll do, I'll start this comment with this. I need to use 3 double inverted commas and I need to enclose the other one as with 3 inverted commas, 3 double inverted commas. So this is a comment. Now this slash n means I have used different lines here. So this command won't get executed. Okay. As an output, I get, or I'll write this also, print 20 plus 50. See, only the print statement gets printed here as the output, and this comment did not get printed because we have used the multi-line commenting option here. I hope I am clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There are certain operators in Python. I guess we'll be dealing with them in the next class. So let me quickly revise what we have done today. Today, we started with the significance of programming. Why do we need programming? We need programming to train our machines or to make our machines do what we want. Now, this programming includes writing a code in a using a language that we understand, passing it to the translator so that it can convert it into machine understandable format. Translator can be of two types. Either it can be a compiler or an interpreter. Cool. For writing the code, we'll be using Python. Why? Because Python is simple, easy, free, open source, high level, and portable. What does portability mean? Portability means that the syntax of Python is not operating system dependent. You use whatever operating system you wish to use. The Python syntax, Python remains Python. There will be no change in Python. Okay. Then we wrote our first program, print hello world. We studied about the Python character set, which includes letters, digits, special symbols, white spaces, and ASCII characters. We also talked about variables. What are variables? How memory is allocated to variables. We also talked about the rules for identifiers, I mean, writing the variable names. Then we talked about the different data types that Python supports. We talked about keywords. Now, one question to you all. Tell me the command that we use to find the data type of a particular variable.
Type of variable.
Very good. Type of variable. Keep in mind, whenever you need to find what is the data type of a particular variable, you will be using the type command. What is the statement or function used to print something?
Print function.
Print function. Very good. And how I showed you the different variation of this print function, right? Whenever you are writing anything within inverted commas inside the brackets, it will be printed as it is. Whenever you want a variable value to be printed, what you will do? You will not use the inverted commas. You'll simply write the variable name within the parenthesis. Okay. Whenever you want a number to be printed, you'll simply write the number inside the parenthesis. Whenever you want sum of two numbers to be printed directly, you'll write both the numbers with a plus symbol in between within the parenthesis. The different variation of printing something is, I guess, clear to everyone. Then we also talked about keywords. Your task, I have given two tasks to you. First, find out the conversion between hexadecimal, binary, octadecimal, the different types of data formats that we have. Okay. Then you are supposed to find out the keywords in Python. Now, keywords, why are they important? Because keywords are reserved words in Python and you cannot use them for naming your variable. Okay. Then we also talked about comments in Python. How can you perform commenting, be it single line comment or multi-line comment in Python? Okay. So I guess this is it for today. We'll be dealing with the other topics from the next class. Cool. Any doubts?
Okay, man. Thank you. No, man.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
I hope you like the session. I need more participation from your end from the next class. From the next class, we'll solve multiple problems. We'll be using the coding platform. I mean, you guys will also be using Jupyter Notebook. In the next class, we'll install everything, or it will be good if you guys get it pre-installed before the next session so that we don't waste time in that. If you face any difficulty, I'll help you out in the next session. Okay. You need to have two things on your system, Anaconda and Python. Okay, so we keep it till here. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next session.
Thank you.